Hi, welcome to the Ditzy Chicks.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Mary.
Nice to
Millie.
meet you.
And welcome to Astrology Thursdays, where we just
Yeah.
kind of talk about astrology, obviously. But we would like to specify that this is not astronomy. Astronomy is the study of like planets and stars and like outer space and how they move together. And astrology is how the planets and like stars and stuff affect us as humans. And then the natural world around us, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it affects situations, it affects countries and
Yes.
governments, if you believe
Marriages,
it.
relationships,
Yeah.
everything has a birth chart, is what I've been
Yep.
told. But we would, before we get too deep, we would like to preface this by saying that if you already have the basics of astrology down, um, but you just really know like what your sun sign, your one zodiac sign is, that's fine. But it is also much bigger than that. So we're hoping that you come in with like an open mind and you're taking something away from this. But we also don't do the well, my sign's better than other signs. This sign's better than other signs. I hate this sign for XYZ because every sign has its own little perks and quirks.
Yeah.
Um,
There's good and toxicity in each sign.
yeah.
Um, I forgot what I was going to say.
It's okay. And it's like I said, it's much more deeper than just your sun sign because you've got your entire birth chart to look at that is who you are as a person. So if you don't identify with one aspect of your sun sign, it's probably because you have another strong placement somewhere else in your birth chart. But also if you have a judgment about one sign, it's probably because something somewhere in your birth chart is not getting along with that sign. And also, what you might think is bad is good for somebody else, and vice versa.
Everyone has a birth chart, like Mary said. In your birth chart, it consists of, it's like a big wheel, it's like a big pie.
Yeah.
And there are 12 pieces of that pie. And in that birth chart, it's where each planet in our solar system went, like the day and time you were born.
Right. You have
And
to
that's what we
know
reference.
where your birthday and your birth time, like those specific things to know exactly what you are
Yeah,
in
like
each
your
placement.
location. You can look that up on astro.com too.
What's your location? Sorry.
Give me your lats and longes. um, but
So you said
so
longes and I thought of long johns. Give me your long johns. I want your thermal underwear.
give me your laterals and long johns. Um, but so when we say birth chart, that's what we mean.
Yeah.
We're talking about where the planets were for you, this specific time you were born, wherever you were born,
Yeah.
what the sky looked like when you were born. And astrology is the belief that that has an impact on who you are as a person,
Yeah.
down to your core. So sun sign is your ego. That is nothing more or less than what you are is your ego.
Yeah.
And your sun sign works together with every other um, planet in your birth chart. And the reason why the sun sign is the biggest is because, for one, the sun is the biggest.
Yeah.
So who you are is your sun sign, and then it's also your moon sign, but your moon working with your sun sign.
Yeah.
Your rising working with your sun sign.
Yeah. Everything is working with your sun sign.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's why when you hear people say, "Oh, well, Leos are the best sign," or "we hate Scorpios," that is your ego talking.
Of course, Leos think they're the best sign.
um
Sorry.
But yeah, that is your ego talking.
Yeah.
Your ego, 100% working alone, will think it's the best sign. And that's why we don't do that, because we don't operate on egos here. We're all about,
We've evolved. We've
yeah,
ascended. We're better than you.
we're ascending. But that's why we want you to have an open mind.
Yeah.
Please listen. When you get into astrology with an open mind, you can actually learn how to navigate with any kind of sign.
Right.
Like if you know, like, oh, hey, that's an Aquarius. I know they're kind of this way. So now I actually know how to cultivate a good relationship with
Right.
them.
It also helps you understanding and learning your birth chart can help you overcome obstacles in your life. It can help you find direction in your life. It can, my honestly, understanding my birth chart kind of helped me be a better person and
Yeah.
helped me to be less of an egotistical asshole.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was a very loud person.
Was
I mean, I still am, but I mean more so like when I'm out and
loud in an
about.
annoying way.
Yeah, yeah, not in like a she's fun, like
Yeah.
a wow, she should shut the fuck up maybe. Perhaps close your
Pick
mouth.
me.
Yeah,
Pick me.
kinda. Yeah, I would honestly looking back, I would have identified myself as a pick me because I kind of was. But anyways,
Regardless, astrology can help you learn about yourself, why you do and don't do the things that you do and don't do, and then it can help you just understand and appreciate yourself a little more,
yeah,
and then also appreciate other people and see the good things in them. It'll help you appreciate the good things about each sign, because no matter what, we go through a 12-month year, we go through all 12 signs in a year.
mm-hmm.
You feel the energy of each sign at one point or another in the year.
Yep,
And if you can use the energy of that sign to your advantage, or know how that energy affects you,
yeah.
you can actually be more successful in life.
I was gonna say, like, the energy for each zodiac sign is also going to affect you differently than it might affect one of your friends or your boyfriend or your family, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna have a different birth chart and zodiac as you do. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's gonna be affected differently. So like
Yeah.
a Cancer moon for me is gonna be super, super intense. Like when the moon is in Cancer,
Yeah.
it is going to be significantly different for me as opposed to you
Mm-hmm.
because we have vastly different moon signs.
Yep.
So
Um, I am a Cancer sun though, so.
yeah, yeah. I
But
guess maybe I should
regardless,
have used Dylan for
yeah,
that because it does.
yeah.
Um, but anyways, where do we want to go next?
We want to go into the elements. Woo!
Woo!
Our survey says
Water,
elements.
water, water. You know what I'm talking about? Have
Nope.
you seen? Oh,
Nope.
a few years. I don't know. A few years ago on TikTok, they took like the Avatar, Last Airbender, where
I
they're
knew it
saying
was
like
gonna be
Earth,
Avatar stuff.
water,
Yeah.
air, fire, and they just put it was water over and over again. So it's water, water, and that's what I thought of.
See, when you were saying that, that's what you thought of. But what I thought of was the Hex Girls from Scooby Doo.
Nope, not for
No.
me. No,
Earth,
everybody's like
wind, fire, and air.
no, everybody's
No.
like Hex Girls, and I'm like, I didn't watch Scooby Doo as a kid. I was not a Scooby Doo kid.
The Hex Girls are the
I
best.
also didn't watch Avatar. To be fair,
I did not watch Avatar
it's
once
kind of
in my
cool.
entire life.
Stevie really liked Avatar.
I would probably like Avatar, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't have room to like any more things than what I
that's
already like.
that's that's fair. Okay, the elements. Um, let's start with fire because that starts off that's like the first element in the zodiac year.
Yes.
Western zodiac year.
Yes.
Hot.
So Aries is the first sign in the zodiac wheel. It starts off mid end March, going into April. So that's technically the zodiac new year for Western astrology. And it starts off with fire because it's an action.
Yeah.
We're starting something. That's an action. That's fire all over the place. So our first element is fire. There are 3 signs of each element. So there are 3 different signs that are fire signs.
There are also 3 different modes to each sign as well. Or like there's one
element.
mode per element. There's one mode per zodiac sign, 3 in an element. Always. 3 signs, 3 modes,
Okay, Mr.
4
Sir.
elements. Let's go! I apologize for your ears. I'm so sorry.
Mr. Sir, there's 3 signs in each element. Always. It's the
I just
second
see some
holes reference I've made
sunflowers.
today.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so fire. Fire usually symbolizes passion, creativity, doing something.
Just
Yeah.
do it.
Get it done. Don't let your dream literally don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah.
Is fire.
Yeah, that is.
Shia LaBeouf was on something. Do you know what real quick? Do you know what Shia LaBeouf means in French?
No.
Thank God for beef. Or thank goodness for beef.
Really?
I don't know how accurate that is because I got it off the internet. But buff is beef in French. So
That's
just a quick little side note. Thank goodness for beef.
So you know how to say thank goodness for beef in French, and also I am an egg.
We. Also, one more sidetrack. When I said thank goodness for beef, it reminded me of that vine of that little girl, and she's looking out the window and she goes, I smell like beef. Have you seen that?
No.
I smell like beef. I'll have to show you. It's so
Yes.
it's so funny. Anyways, okay. So that's that. We got fire. We covered fire, and then it goes
Well,
into
we have fire, and the 3 fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Aries is the mode of Aries is cardinal. The mode of Leo is fixed, and the mode of Sagittarius is mutable. Cardinal is the doer. It's the starter. It's the shit starter. But cardinal signs tend to be more pushy when it comes to getting successful. They want to get shit done. Fixed signs are stable, reliable. They like where they are, and they are perfectly fine being steady and just moving at their pace and gradually climbing the ladder of their goals.
Yeah.
Mutable signs are very spontaneous. They can be wishy-washy, so they go back and forth.
Like very go with the flowy.
Yeah, definitely
they're just
go
kind
with
of
the flow.
they're just kind of there for a good time.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of times a mutable sign will just kind of go along with whatever cardinal sign says.
Yeah.
You know, cardinal sign says, "Hey, we're doing this," and fixed sign says, "Fuck you," and mutable
I'm not
sign
doing
will
that.
say,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I could do that."
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
So for fire, yeah, those are the 3 signs, and I think I went through the modes.
Yeah.
And it looks like all of the fire signs are masculine energy, because fire.
All of them.
Yep.
Cool.
Fire is a masculine energy. So all those signs are going to be masculine. And then moving on to Earth, and all of those signs are going to be feminine energy.
Earth.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus is fixed, Virgo is mutable, and Capricorn is cardinal.
Yep.
Yep. And then after that, we've got air.
Yes.
Yes.
Air is masculine energy.
Yeah, air is masculine energy. Air also symbolizes like intelligence and knowledge and stimulation.
Yes,
learning
mental
things,
stimulation, mind games, not
not in a manipulative way. Always.
if they're living in their toxic time period.
Yeah.
At that point, they will play mind games, but when they evolve, they don't.
Right.
It's a learning thing.
Yeah.
You know, as a child and growing up, each sign is going to display a lot of their toxic traits. As they grow up, they.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier too, like if they have like an air sun sign, it's going to work differently with the different elements in their chart as well, and the different aspects of who they are.
Yes.
So that's also going to vary as well, depending on what their other placements are.
Earth is very stable energy.
Yeah, I also remembered that we
we
forgot to specify
right
what Earth is.
we floated right over that.
Sorry. Earth don't matter.
But
Who
Earth
needs
is
stability? Not me, said the no Earth sign person.
yeah. You don't have any.
I
Do you
have
have
one,
one? Yeah,
and
one
it's
in your chart.
my Saturn and Taurus.
Yes.
Anyways, we'll get into that later.
But yeah, Earth energy is very stable, reliable. Even the mutable sign is reliable when they choose to be, or reliable for who they choose.
Yeah, I've got one Virgo friend.
Yeah.
And she's been my friend for a very, very long time, and I love her to death.
Yeah, reliable for the people they choose to be reliable for, but anyone else could be like, oh, Virgos are not reliable at all. It's just, that's why some
maybe the Virgo
work.
wasn't reliable for you because you weren't reliable for the Virgo back.
Yeah,
that's usually what it is. Virgos, you have to prove
There's
to
a
them
reason.
that they can rely on you.
Oh yeah,
so you can rely on them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So then, yes, back to air. We've got Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Again, these all carry masculine energy, which isn't. It does not mean that a person of that sign should act masculine all the time. It's just that is more essentially an outgoing sign.
Right. More so the energy is more it's describes how you hold and carry yourself more than anything. It does not mean you have to present yourself as such. It just is more it's every time I say more so take a shot. It's just describes how you are, not how you should be.
Right. And I can even like connect that their masculine energy as in their outgoing. So like I mean a lot of fire signs and air signs are very outgoing people. Not afraid to talk to people, not afraid to make friends.
Yeah.
Whereas you can look at a lot of earth sign people and water sign people in their feminine energy, not as quick to make friends, not as quick to be outgoing. Most of them are introverted.
Yeah. That's funny. So yeah.
So now we go into water.
Yeah.
Which is Cancer, the cardinal sign of water, Scorpio, the fixed sign of water, and Pisces, the mutable sign of water.
Did we go through the air signs and what modes they were?
I don't think we hit the modes.
We are so sorry. We're so used we are so used to just casually talking about it though. Yeah. So that it just glazes over for us.
Yeah, we've talked about this shit so much.
Yeah. So you said it's Gemini, Libra, and then Aquarius. Gemini is the mutable one. Libra is the cardinal. No.
Yes.
Yes. Because Aquarius is fixed. Yeah. So yeah.
Yep. And also you can look, sister signs are two zodiac signs exactly opposite on the wheel from each other. So if you're wondering what a sign is, if you know that Leo is a fixed sign, you also know that the sign exactly opposite of it, which is Aquarius, is also fixed.
Yeah.
Just like Capricorn and Cancer are both cardinal signs.
Yeah. Gemini and Sagittarius are both mutable, and so was
Virgo and Pisces are mutable. So you're always the same mode with your sister sign.
Yeah. Which is why usually the relationships where you're with your sister sign don't work out because there's too many similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's usually good to date somebody or be with somebody that can balance you instead of being similar to you.
I have found though that there are a lot of friendships of people with sister signs.
Yeah.
I do actually know of one Virgo Pisces relationship that's a very long lasting relationship.
They usually work better as friendships and not so much in a romantic setting.
They can't live together.
No.
Most of the time.
Oops. My dad,
Oops.
well, my dad was a Gemini. I'm a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
My daughter's a Gemini.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yikes. Also, speaking of elements, some elements work better together than others.
Yeah.
So look at the element as itself. If you are like, oh, hey, I'm a Libra, I wonder if I can date this Pisces. You could. It might actually work out.
Yeah.
There are ways for every sign to work out with any sign.
Yeah.
But look at air and look at water. What does the air do when it meets water? It like
Yeah.
creates,
Unrest. Yeah.
yes, the water cannot be calm when the air is constantly blowing at it.
Yeah.
Um I've been in an air water relationship that did not go over very well.
Nope.
I'm not saying that they all don't work out. I'm just saying mine didn't
Yeah.
from my experience.
I've experienced a water and air relationship also not working.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's not something that's common to work out. And in the inverse, if you have air and fire, what does air do for fire?
Fans it.
It fans
Yeah.
it livens
Feeds it. Yeah.
If you have an air person dating a fire person, chances are that fire person is going to feel so fulfilled.
Yeah.
They are going to feel so much like
They will thrive and
yes,
grow, and
they will
yeah.
just be living in their most bright selves. Usually.
That's all you're there for, air signs.
Right.
You're just there for the fire.
But the fire will keep the air sign warm.
Yeah.
Because air being air, something can make it hot, something can make it cold. Water tends to make air cold.
Yeah.
But the fire will make the air warm.
Right.
Um
That's a great analogy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Came up with it myself. Where my relationship is water and earth. What does water do for the earth? It waters it. It
helps it grow.
Yes, it nurtures it. If earth is with a good, well balanced water sign, that water sign can nurture that earth sign so much into growing into the most beautiful garden you've ever seen. And vice versa, when you have earth being stable and set in certain places, it will calm that water into a nice flowing stream through the forest.
Yeah.
And they work so well together. And, you know, if you're a water sign and you're like, well, I'm Pisces and I dated a Taurus and it didn't work out at all. It's like, well, I mean,
yeah, because
yes,
one's muted and one's fixed.
Right.
Assholes.
So,
sorry. I'm being goofy.
Honestly, it's kind of hard for a lot of fixed signs to date anybody because in their most toxic form, they can be so set in their ways that they are so unwilling to change for anybody.
I'm married to a fixed person and I love him. He's great, but sometimes
He's
it's
very
hard.
set in
Sometimes
his ways,
it's hard to get him to budge a little bit.
Yeah. And sometimes they grow out of it, sometimes they grow into it.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the person and how you talk to them too.
Yeah.
Because sometimes fixed signs are like, you spoke to me in this wrong ass tone, and I'm never gonna listen to you again.
You made me feel like a child, so fuck you.
Fixed signs are also very adamant about their beliefs and the way they think. If they have something that they've decided on, you can't change it.
Yeah.
They've fully decided, I hate that person. Or they fully decided, I'm never going to that bar ever again for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But the right person they'll bend for the right person.
Yeah.
And if you're not the right person, you're not the right person.
Deal with it. Be better, maybe. I'm kidding.
Well, maybe you should start being the right guy.
Yeah.
That's why you got punched in the first place. But those are the elements.
Yes.
And that's how they work together. And vice versa. Water and fire don't always work.
Yeah. The fire is either going to boil the water or the water is going to put out the fire.
Yeah.
And the same goes with the earth. The fire is either going to scorch the earth and burn it to the ground, or the earth will put out the fire, because like dirt, sometimes you can put
Yeah.
fire out with dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Fire is really only going to thrive with air.
Yeah, most of the
Even like
time.
if you put fire, if a fire sign dates another fire sign, sometimes that'll be bad because they're just going to
It's
burn
too much
everybody
fire.
around them. It's too
Yes.
much. It's too much energy.
Yep. Air and air, if they end up together, they will so much be living in the clouds all the
Yeah.
time. Sometimes the relationship can work out depending on what else is in their birth charts.
Right.
Now, I always say I I don't get along with most Aquarians. I
Mm-hmm.
love Aquarian energy, but just the way that Aquarians are, I can't get along with them
Yeah.
very well unless they have a lot of earth in their chart.
Right.
Then
Well, you've
they're
got a
more
lot of
stable.
water in your chart, don't you?
I'm actually fairly even on all elements. It's very
Wow.
weird.
That must be nice. Can't relate. I also realized like half of my birth chart is fixed and the other half is mutable with like one cardinal placement, maybe. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Two.
I
Two
have
cardinal placements.
so much cardinal placement. I
I
have my
it
sun and
explains a lot
moon.
about me though.
Yeah,
Like half fixed, half mutable.
both my sun and moon are cardinal signs.
Yeah.
So I'm like, get the fuck out of my way and
Dude,
let me get shit done.
my so for context, I'm a Sagittarius sun with
Mm-hmm.
a Cancer moon and a Leo rising. So I have a mutable sun sign, a cardinal moon sign, and a fixed rising sign.
Look at you.
Yeah. My Mercury is also Sagittarius, and
Yeah.
my Mars is Libra. So that's another mutable and another cardinal. But the rest of my birth chart, I think, is Aquarius.
Wow.
Yeah. Except for my
And then you
North
have
Node
your
in
Taurus.
Cancer. And then my
Yes.
Taurus. Yeah. Which is
Oh,
fixed.
that's another thing. I have a Capricorn North Node.
Yeah.
So I have my sun, moon are um, cardinals, and then my North Node is also a
Yeah.
cardinal.
Also, I think in a previous episode I had talked about how Dylan has a
Oh,
Capricorn.
yeah.
I think I
Different.
might have accidentally been looking at your chart thinking I was looking at his.
Oh,
Because like I had told you a few weeks ago, I actually found out he's got a Libra North Node, not a
yes.
Capricorn North Node. But you said
Yes.
it explains a lot about how he was as a child going into him as an adult.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the nodes of your birth chart, you'll have a south node and a north node or true node.
Mm-hmm.
Where your south node is, that's a common comfort zone for you, or that is where your soul came from in a past life
Yeah.
in that form. So in this life, your soul is supposed to be moving towards your north node or your true node. That is the energy you're supposed to start moving towards. That is how you're supposed to be making goals, how you're supposed to be going through life. So, being a Cancer sun with a Cancer south node, personally, it's very hard for me to move towards my north node of Capricorn. Your south node and north node will be directly opposite of each other. So, I, want to be in this family space like my ego wants, my Cancer sun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with my south node in Cancer, I'm probably so comfortable there that it is scary moving away from family, moving away from home
Yeah.
towards that Capricorn north node. But that is where I'm supposed to be going in order to learn the lessons I need to learn in this life
Right.
and also to be more successful in this life so my soul can grow on to the next phase. So that is north node, south node. Touching on that, we'll talk about that a little more in a different episode. Um, but that's where astrology gets fun is most people get into astrology because they're lost and they're trying to find why they are the way they are.
That's why I did
Or
it.
same here.
I did it because I started getting into astrology because I was getting sick of the way I was interacting with other people,
Mm-hmm.
because I was self-aware that I am an aggressive, assertive person
Mm-hmm.
when I'm social. I take charge. I Sometimes my tone of voice in my head is not aggressive, but then
Mm-hmm.
when I say it out loud, it comes off as mean and bitchy. And I get that a lot where people are like, "Why did you like say that to me?" And I'm like, "I didn't intend for it to come out that way."
Yeah.
But now that I know that I have a Sagittarius stellium. Sagittarians are known
Mm-hmm.
for their honesty. They're blunt. They're like brutally blunt. They're
Yep.
just like loudmouth assholes. And now that I know that most of my birth chart is in Sagittarius, I'm like, that
That
explains a
explains a
lot about
lot.
me. And
Yep.
then as a child and being a teenager, I was loud and outgoing and needed everybody to see me, and I was always trying to get people to see what I was doing and up to. And now that I know I have a Leo rising, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that explains so much about me.
Yep. So in astrology, when people talk about your big three, that'll be your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign.
Yeah.
Your rising sign tends to be the thing that shows most in you and what other people see in you from birth as you're growing up. Now, usually around the time you hit your 30 years old or into your 30s, the effects of your rising sign will slowly die away because rising is rising up
Yeah.
into adulthood. Um, so it does come out a lot when you're younger, and then usually after your first Saturn return, when you get hit hard with karma and Big Daddy Saturn, either rewarding you for your hard work or not rewarding you for your non hard work.
Punishing you for your lack of or your lack of accountability.
Yes.
Really is what it is.
That's when kind of learned some good lessons
Yeah.
and have grown up, and then your rising sign
Yeah.
will slowly fade away a little bit. She'll still show here and there, but will fade
Yeah.
away.
Is that something we want to get into? Is the planets just a little bit, just quickly, and what they mean for the signs? Like what
Um,
planets rule them? Because Saturn rules responsibility, and that's what your Saturn return is. It's the Saturn
yeah.
return is like, well, you did a really good job with like saving your money, so here's miraculously a house. That's not how that works, but like that's just like a vague example. Or like if you didn't have insurance for forever,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, you didn't have insurance and you weren't taking care of your shit, so here's this.
You know what? Why don't we just actually kind of talk about Saturn
Yeah.
in general and Saturn return? Because that is a big thing that hits um, young adults
Hmm.
too. And people who are older than their have already passed their first Saturn
Yeah.
return can think back and be like, oh, that did happen to me.
Yeah.
So it can be something that's here and now kind of happening with a lot of people, or just happened, or just will happen
Yeah.
soon, with a lot of people in our age group that will be listening to this.
Hmm.
So I think we can touch on Saturn and Saturn return
Okay.
for a little bit, and then we can end our episode.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we have time to go through all the
That's okay.
planets.
Yeah. I was less so talking like in depth and just going
Oh
like an
yeah, well let's just
overview.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because like I have them all written here where like, Virgo is Mercury, and then Mercury represents like communication and the mind, stuff like that. Just
Yes,
like a
let's
quick
do that.
overview. Okay.
Let's do that. Um, so we'll cut all that out.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so also in astrology, every zodiac sign has a planet that rules it and helps it. Um, I guess I don't know
It's
what I'm looking for.
so like hold on.
We'll just cut that whole part out.
Each planet has its own zodiac. So like each zodiac is ruled by a specific planet, and that planet represents something different in your birth chart or in astrology in general. So like I'll just start at Aries and I'll go down the line.
Yeah.
Aries is ruled by Mars, which is activity and passion.
Yeah.
Mars is also seen as like it's the angry planet, which
Mm-hmm.
people usually see Aries as angry people.
Yeah.
Because Aries is also the god of war.
Yeah.
And then
It's aggression. Mars is also sex drive.
yeah,
Um, it is also passion. Aries, or
yeah,
not Aries, Mars can be very passionate. And I personally like to look at the planets as like I like to personify them.
yeah,
So like I'll say Mars likes this,
yeah.
or
That's good.
the moon, she does this, or
Yeah,
whatever. Um So Mars likes to live in action, masculine.
Yeah.
Um, it likes to do, it likes to create, it likes to promote, it likes to procreate. Um, it likes all of those things.
Yeah.
Anything that's drive, ambition. I already said aggression. What's the other A word I'm looking for? Not aggression, but assertive.
There you go.
Mars
Yeah,
is
they are very
assertive.
assertive people.
Mars is courageous. Mars is sure of
Yeah.
themselves. They are what they are. Mars is I am and I do.
Yeah.
Um, so Mars rules Aries. Mars also used to be a big ruler for Scorpio as well.
Okay.
Just touching on that.
Yeah.
Um, you can
Yeah.
go on.
No, and then after Aries, you have Taurus,
Mm-hmm.
which is ruled by Venus. And Venus is the planet of love and beauty and
Mm-hmm.
relationships. When you look at your Venus placement and your birth chart, that's usually going to tell you what you search for in a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Also, beauty, what you find beautiful,
yeah.
how you want yourself to be beautiful, what you see that's beautiful in yourself,
Yeah.
the beauty you see in others, the beauty you see in the world, how you want to make your environment beautiful.
Yeah.
And also looking back on the masculine and feminine, starting off with those two signs, that is the most masculine and most feminine of planets right there.
Yep.
Starting like just at the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
you've got Mars, and then you got straight to Mars's opposite of Venus, which is just love and beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And when you really get down to like the core of Taurus, that's really what they enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean,
They just want everything to be beautiful.
every Taurus, I'm not kidding you, every Taurus I know, don't touch their stuff.
Yeah.
Do not
Oh,
fucking come into their house and touch their stuff.
materialistic. Tauruses
Yes.
are very materialistic people.
They like their material. Well,
Yeah.
they worked and earned
They
money
work hard for what they
to
have.
get their beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
And don't fucking come into their environment and
Yeah.
mess shit up. And I get that. I appreciate that. I'm never gonna go to a Taurus's house unannounced. I'm never gonna go and touch their
Yeah.
shit. They just don't like that, and that's okay. They like their stuff.
Yeah.
And they love food. And they make great food a lot of the time.
My one Taurus placement must be working hard because I identify with both of those things. Don't touch my shit and give me food. Also, I think Tauruses are stereotypically also like they love sleeping. They're very sleepy,
Yeah.
restful people.
Yeah.
Stereotypically.
They just like leisure.
Yeah.
They love leisure
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, Venus, leisure. Venus loves to just lay
Kick back,
about
relax.
and she loves to just be beautiful. She loves people to do things for her.
Yeah.
Feminine. You sit back and you receive. Gemini.
Yeah, after
Geminis.
Taurus is Gemini.
Mm-hmm.
And Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is about communication, how you talk to people, how you interact with everybody, the mind, like we
Mm-hmm.
stated before. Geminis, I would say more so over Aquarius and Libras, need more stimulation.
Yeah.
They need the adventure, which is why, as friends, they work great with Sagittarians.
Mm-hmm. Geminis are very curious.
Yeah.
I have yet to find a Gemini that is not curious, that is not asking questions, or a person who has a strong Mercury placement not asking questions. They're looking for answers. They're looking to solve problems.
Yeah.
They're looking to solve puzzles. They want to know. They have such a drive to obtain knowledge about things and about people. And a lot of people can get annoyed that Geminis ask questions all the time. But that's honestly,
they're just trying to soak it all up. They're like sponges. Geminis are like sponges.
Yeah, that's also how they show their interest to you.
Yeah.
That's how they show their love. They want to know. They just want to know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are going to be an open book with them, they will 100% be an open book with you.
I want to know. Can you show me? I want to know about the strangers. You just cut it off right there. That's
about
Gemini.
The planets, like
yeah.
But so then Mercury also rules travel, rules communication, like you said,
Yeah.
but the way communication is
Oh, and
produced. So phones, like that planet,
technology. Yeah.
yes, technology is a big one.
Which is why a lot of people are afraid of when Mercury goes into retrograde, because typically it fucks shit up.
Oh yeah,
Which,
your
yeah, it
flights will be
does.
canceled.
Yeah.
Your
Um,
car will get a flat.
but I found I usually, for me personally, I don't usually have bad Mercury retrogrades. It's after the retrograde happens, like the first few weeks after the retrograde happens, is when shit gets fucked up for me. And I'm convinced it's because my Mercury is in the opposite placement of where it's supposed to be. It's in Sagittarius,
Yeah.
not anywhere else.
So when you have a planet that, let's say, we'll use Mercury as an example. Mercury also rules Virgo, both.
Yes, yep. Well, yeah, I'm getting there.
So um, when you have a planet like Mercury in the exact opposite position where it feels comfortable, Mercury does not feel comfortable in Sagittarius because it's so comfortable in Gemini.
Yeah,
So it's the opposite. So what happens with Mercury will affect that person differently if they have their Mercury in Sagittarius.
yeah. And then after Gemini, we've got
Cancer.
Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon,
La
which
Lune.
represents emotions.
The moon
Yeah,
fucks with your emotions.
which is why cancers are stereotypically seen as crybabies, because they're
They're really
ruled by
not, though.
they're not. I haven't met a crybaby cancer. I, with
I
the Cancer moon, am a crybaby, absolutely. But every Cancer sun I've met has not been as emotional as people make them out to be. My mom, a very strong woman, Cancer sun.
Yep.
I idolize my mom. You, a Cancer woman.
I don't cry in front of people.
Yeah.
When I cry, it's most of the time when I'm alone. So nobody knows when I cry. Most of the time, nobody thinks I do cry. Like, even like my mom's memorial service,
Yeah.
I didn't shed a tear that day
Right.
because I don't cry in front of people.
Well, also,
Most
you had a
cancers,
lot to do that day, though.
yeah, that's true. But a lot of cancers, because they're so in tune with their emotions, when they evolve, they can turn their emotions on and off in an instant in order to get through a day.
Yeah.
And then they can turn
Pick
their
and
emotions
pick and
right back.
choose when they want to
Yes.
feel them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are actually
Relatable.
very in control of their emotions. But it is their moon sign that will draw that shit out and make them seem crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Going into after Cancer is Leo,
Mm-hmm.
and Leo ruled by the
The
sun.
sun,
That
which
is
is your
why,
ego.
yep, and that is why most people will say, "Oh, Leos just love themselves. They're so
Well,
egotistical."
because they're ruled by the self and your ego.
Yes.
Literally, Leo is all about who they are, who
Yeah.
they want to be,
Yep.
how they want other people to see them. That is literally what they are. It's all about their identity.
Yep. It's yeah.
With
That's it. It's
yeah,
nail on the head.
yeah. And then after Leo, you've got
Is
Virgo,
yep.
which is also ruled by Mercury.
Yep. And so, because Mercury is ruling these two different signs, these different signs are ruled by the same planet, but in different ways.
Yeah.
So, whereas the Gemini, the air sign, with Mercury and communication and knowledge, outwardly wants that.
Yeah.
They are going out seeking that knowledge. Virgo, being the feminine and Earth, will quietly study that knowledge.
Yeah.
They will they will watch people's mannerisms. They will watch a room.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, a lot of Virgos can be pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
It's just really weird how that sign works. Um, it just Mercury will affect Virgo in a different way than it does affect Gemini.
Yeah.
And in this, you will find a lot of Gemini Virgo relationships that can work out or they can be very tumultuous.
Yeah.
Um,
Again,
but
it
it's
depends
just,
on the rest of your birth
yeah,
chart. Yeah.
it's a really weird relationship that Gemini will have with Virgo because, in one hand, they can seem like such similar people, but then in an instant, they can be completely different people.
Yeah.
Um, So after that is Libra. And Libra is,
Also ruled by Venus.
yes.
Yeah.
Um, and which makes sense because if you know any Libras, they do like beauty.
Yeah.
Um, they like beautiful things. They love
Libras are
to,
also very attentive to their relationships.
yes, they're
Whereas
the
that's what
harmony.
I've learned. Tauruses are more so like they love the beauty in things, and Libras love the beauty in people.
Yeah.
Is that how you would describe that?
Yeah,
Because that's from my
exactly.
personal experience. I think I've only been friends with one Taurus my whole life,
Hmm.
and she's very much so. I mean, she's beautiful herself,
Hmm.
but she was more so about like the outward beauty.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't even have a Libra friend, but most Libras that I have met in passing, they
Hmm.
are very much so more into people and less so of the things around them,
Yeah.
which I think is also why stereotypically Tauruses are seen as materialistic people.
Yeah. I would also venture to say that Libra finds the happy medium in making minimalism very beautiful.
Yeah.
I find that they do that a lot. I find that Libras also tend to really focus on taking care of themselves too,
Yeah.
when they're in their evolved state. Who's next?
After,
Scorpio.
after Libra, we've got Scorpio, which
Hmm.
is ruled by Pluto, which is the new one,
Yes.
formerly ruled by
Yes.
Mars.
Um, yeah, Mars was the old one back when Pluto didn't exist. Apparently, Pluto still doesn't exist, but
Pluto used to be a
I'm
planet, and now all of a sudden it's a dwarf planet. So technically, it's still a planet, but it's just tiny. But I remember when I was younger, for whatever reason, I loved Pluto. I was like, that's my
I
favorite
remember you telling me
planet.
about
That's
this.
my favorite planet. I love Pluto. And when I heard that it was no longer a planet, I had stickers of Pluto on my wall. I went in there and I was like, no, ripping it off the wall like
Yeah.
Regina George in her little book.
Yes.
Um, but it's funny looking back on it now because I'm married to a Scorpio, um,
Yeah. Who's
who's
ruled
ruled
by
by
Pluto?
Pluto. So that's just like a funny little Easter egg.
Oh yes. Um, Scorpio is also still ruled by Mars because they still
Yeah.
display a lot of the Mars,
Yes.
but in a very fixed way,
You
not in a cardinal way.
right. Um, Pluto represents rebirth and
Death,
death. Yeah, like
transition,
yes. And we already went over
letting go.
Mars.
Yeah. So I love Pluto energy, but I'm biased because my rising sign is Pluto.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love death and rebirth.
Right.
And I love, Pluto does this a lot. Pluto exposes people's garbage. I
Okay.
love when people's lies are exposed. I love exposing the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I love when
Me
the truth
fucking
comes out.
too. I love digging for the truth.
Hmm.
I like investigating and figuring it out for myself.
Hmm.
Less so experiencing it just coming out. I like finding it out for myself.
Hmm.
Which is I think is why like I don't want to say I like arguing,
Yeah.
but I like confrontation, I could
Kind
say.
of
Not
like it.
arguing, I like confrontation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, commonly Scorpios are very mysterious
Yeah.
and hidden and secretive,
Mhm.
which Pluto does.
Yeah.
But Pluto also exposes
Right.
secrets and exposes lies and exposes problematic
Yeah.
whatever. Um, so that's what Pluto does. But again, you can't look at all that in like a negative way.
Right.
So moving on to
Sa-
Capricorn
Sagittarius.
or Sagittarius.
Wow.
Fuck Sagittarius.
Wow. Offended. As a
Offended.
prominent Sagittarius placement person, fuck you. I'm not even wearing my necklace. That's on my
You
nightstand. I'm
bitch.
mad. I wear it to
Oh
work all the
man.
time though.
Aw.
I'm a Sagittarius and
Represent.
proud.
I'm a proud centaur. um, so Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. And I love big Jupiter because Jupiter's very happy. Jupiter is lucky. Jupiter loves
Mm-hmm.
living in luck and chance and wealth. Jupiter loves that shit.
Yeah.
Traveling for fun. Jupiter loves it.
That's why Sagittarians are usually seen as like adventurous.
Mm-hmm.
We are known as, I guess, the philosophers.
Yeah,
Um,
that's because
yeah,
Sagittarius is the Centaur
yeah,
constellation, which is also kind of just like Chiron.
yeah,
Um, but centaurs in mythology are they are philosophers.
yeah. They're
They love
teachers.
looking at the stars.
Yeah,
They love seeking the information and
right.
creating a philosophy and looking for the bigger meanings
Which
in
is
life.
which is why earlier I said, um, in friendships, Geminis and Sagittarians can work because
Mm-hmm.
Sagittarians are the philosophers and the teachers, and Geminis love to learn,
They're the
so they
students.
can teach.
Yep.
Um,
That's also why Sagittarian and Aquarian relationships work really well
yes,
because Aquarius loves mind philosophy,
yes.
loves the bigger picture, loves looking at all that,
Mm-hmm.
and Sagittarius
We dig
will
it.
totally feed into that
Yes,
100%.
relatable because my best friend's an Aquarius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um. But yeah. Um. I forgot where I was going.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Something we were talking about Jupiter, and you already went over what Jupiter rules. But it's funny to me that my a lot of my identity is the big planets.
Yeah.
Like the sun is my rising sign,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jupiter in a lot of my chart. I think. Never mind. I'll get into that
Well,
when we're
the
done
sun
going
is your
over it.
chart ruler.
Right.
So okay, we haven't touched on this. Whatever sign is your rising, the planet that rules that is
Mm-hmm.
also your chart ruler. So Mary's chart ruler is the sun because she has a Leo rising.
Mm-hmm.
And as we've learned, the sun rules Leo. My chart ruler is Pluto because my rising sign is Scorpio. So
Right.
Pluto completely
Pluter.
rules my Pluto. Um, so yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where
That is where most of your identity is going to come from. So if your sun sign is like, I don't know, Virgo, but your chart ruler is, we'll go with, I don't know, Scorpio.
yeah, you're
You
Scorpio.
might not identify 100% with your Virgo sun because your rising or
Your
your
rising
Pluto
sign
will
will
be in
be
Scorpio, whatever the fuck.
yes, you'll display a lot of those things.
Yeah.
So while you can say, "Oh, I don't really my life doesn't align well with these Virgo traits," that's because your life is currently aligning with your
Yeah.
rising sign traits.
Dylan is going through that right now,
Mm-hmm.
because he is a Scorpio sun, but he's got a Sagittarius rising. And I was looking at his Jupiter placement, and it's an Aries. And recently, he's been talking about how he is like angry all the time,
Yeah.
and he's just mad at everything always. And I'm like, well, you've got some strong Aries placements, hon, with your
Yeah. Moon
Aries
and Aries.
moon and your Aries chart ruler. You're going to feel a lot of the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, it happened when we had the Aries moon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like, just take a nap.
But with my Aries moon, I have honestly learned to accept anger. And I don't know about Dylan, but my anger comes out in situations where I have no power. And what is
Yeah.
Pluto the ruler of? Power.
Yeah.
So I will get very angry when non favorable things happen that I am powerless to, that
He does the
affect my
same
life.
thing. Like, a lot of the stuff he's angry about right now was just like the fact that it's looking bleak for us buying a house in the near
Yeah.
future, and like stuff we can't control. He's like, I
Mm-hmm.
just don't make enough money, but there's really nothing he can do about it without
Mm-hmm.
sacrificing time with us. But that's something he values a lot, is his time with his family. So he's like, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, and he doesn't want to
Yeah.
have to choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard making that decision. And that's why you can look to your second house, which is your money house, and how you can do that. See, like, astrology can help you make decisions in your life.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I've got, whatever. I've got Saturn in my second house of money. So, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
Or I have this is where my north node is and it's in this sign and that's where I've got to go, and in order to love what I do, I have to look at this Jupiter placement and what,
Yeah.
like, it when you finally learn enough to be able to put all the puzzle pieces together for yourself, you can actually put your life together very well and use those planets to work with the planets
Yeah.
and create a life for yourself that is fulfilling.
Yeah.
That's all. That's like the biggest thing astrology can do for you.
Right.
That's why we love learning about it so much, because it helps you. It'll always help you.
Mm-hmm.
It'll always help you find a small area that you need to work on. It'll help
Yeah.
you find a a way to make money, or it'll help you find who your perfect spouse is supposed to
Yeah.
be. But whatever sign is in your seventh house, that's your relationship and marriage house.
Right.
And now we move on to Capricorn.
Yes. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn,
Yep.
which you were just talking about.
Yes. Big Daddy Saturn. Saturn is all about karma and, you know, bringing everything around full circle, and essentially just you working hard. Like,
Responsibility.
yes, I always say Big Daddy Saturn because Saturn is the dad of
Well,
the zodiac.
right. Capricorn is the father.
Yeah.
And because it's opposite of
Yeah.
Cancer, which is the mother.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've got the mother and you've got Capricorn, the father.
Yeah.
Um, and they're even, opposites in that Cancer is home life and then
Yeah.
Capricorn
Work
is
life.
work life,
Yeah.
career. It's
Drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Big Daddy Saturn, he will reward you for your hard work and your diligence, or he will not, and you will get punished for your.
Saturn has wares if you have coin. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's a Skyrim reference because
I'm not
yeah,
good with Skyrim
I love
references.
Skyrim. If you're sometimes there's this breed.
What?
There is a race in Skyrim called Khajiit, and they're just like cat people. But they're like wanderers, they're travelers, and if you go up to a Khajiit camp,
Mm-hmm.
whoever is like selling stuff will be like, Khajiit has wares if you have coin, because you're like buying stuff from them.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
That's funny.
I love making that. I love Skyrim. I need to play Skyrim again.
See, I used to play Oblivion before
Yeah.
Skyrim came out, and I fucking loved it. And I wouldn't
Skyrim is
dare
awesome.
play Oblivion or Skyrim now because I would never stop. And
Yeah.
that's a problem for me.
Yeah, I think I haven't played it since I had Jay.
Yeah.
Because I know it's like Sims for me.
Oh yeah, I would never get shit done playing Sims either,
Yeah.
so I can't. I just can't.
Yeah. Anyways.
So, and that's why people tend to be afraid of their Saturn return, which happens around.
If you're doing the right things and taking responsibility, you don't have to be
well,
afraid of your
okay,
Saturn return.
here we go. Here's a great example. But after I had my first child, I buckled down as best as I could and I worked hard and I saved my money and I got a good job that paid well and I worked and I worked and I worked and I didn't take time off and I just saved money and I worked and I set my goals and I accomplished them. I was diligent and I had the willpower to be self-disciplined, and I was rewarded fairly well when I had my Saturn return. I all of my goals were, find somebody that I can be in a good relationship with, maybe even get married. I want to buy a house. I want to have more kids. And all of that happened during my Saturn return.
Yeah.
I was rewarded with a great relationship, a great person. I got a proposal. I got married.
You got a house?
Got a house. and had a baby,
Yeah.
all in my Saturn return.
Yeah.
Those were big
Within a
rewards.
year of each other.
Yeah, all
In the
within a
same
year.
year. Yeah.
Yep. Um, actually, yeah, it was
Yeah.
literally all in the
Boom,
same
boom,
year.
boom, boom.
And then my daughter was born that next year
Yeah.
because,
That's
9
how
months
pregnancy
gestation.
works.
Um, so those were all very big rewards for me. I worked for them, I set those goals, and I achieved them, and I
Mm-hmm.
got rewarded for it. There were other parts of my Saturn return that were not favorable at all and not fun because I didn't work on those areas of my life.
Yeah.
Um, but there you go. So Aquarius is ruled by
Uranus or
Uranus, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Uranus
Yeah.
and Saturn as well.
Yes.
Your Saturn is the old, and
Yep.
Uranus, however the hell you want to say it,
Yeah.
is the new. Uranus is about freedom and revolution, and
Mm-hmm.
we already went through Saturn.
Yep. Which is a lot of what Aquarius is all about.
Right.
Aquarius loves people and humanity, and revolution for humanity.
Right.
Um, Aquarius is about the collective, which is what Uranus is about.
Yeah.
Just expand, like the bigger things,
Yeah.
bigger picture.
Which is it's neat that it's also a generational planet. So each generation has its own planet. Ours is Aquarius or Uranus. And
Actually, mine's Capricorn.
yours is Capricorn.
Capricorn,
Mine's
I have,
Aquarius.
yeah.
Um, which is why like a lot of my generation and is looking to change how the world works and
Mm-hmm.
how certain things work because it's just we're out of the age of Capricorn now.
Yep, we're in the age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
So when we say generational planets, that means it takes an entire human generation for that planet and that age
Yeah.
to essentially go
Go around
around
the
the
sun.
sun.
Yeah.
Um, so whereas my generational planets are all around Capricorn.
Yeah.
Now that Capricorn has ended, um, your generational planets are the next sign
Right.
in line. um, and then lastly, we've got Pisces, which is ruled by Neptune.
Another generational planet.
Yep. And Neptune is, in mythology, rules the ocean.
Yeah.
Pisces.
Which is why I think that's why Pisces people are seen as very dreamy
Yeah.
people because the ocean,
Yeah.
it's vast and flowy.
Mm-hmm. And that's why
There's a lot in it.
when Neptune is especially in Pisces, you'll notice, like if you watch where the planets are moving, um, people will have crazy dreams, vivid dreams.
Yeah, when the moon is in Pisces is when I have really crazy
Mm-hmm.
dreams because I
And
have
that
a
can
strong
also
moon
happen
placement.
too,
Yeah.
because the moon also affects water.
Yeah.
The moon will affect the tides. The moon affects the
Right.
ocean.
Well, and your body is majority water.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't the moon affect you?
Yep. Just like the full moon, it affects people. People can't sleep that night.
Yep.
Kids are crazy.
I
Ask
get
any daycare service. They will tell you when it's a full moon, the kids are acting a fool.
I get extremely lethargic during a full moon. It doesn't matter what full moon it is. Every time there's a full moon, I am exhausted. I'm sleepy. I just don't want to do anything, which
Mhm.
sucks because I want to clean my house during a full moon
Yeah.
because that's what you're supposed to
You
do
want to
during a full moon.
restart
Yeah.
and get your full moon stuff in
Mhm.
order. So yeah, Pisces is ruled by the dream planet and the ocean planet, the feelings planet, or the other feelings planet.
Yeah.
Um, and that's a lot of times why Pisces can be seen as like a very ditzy person. But
Yeah.
I think that really only applies to um, like, I don't know, female Pisces.
Yeah, Pisces women.
Yes, because most male Pisces, while they can be very just not, they can also be very aloof and just
Yeah.
don't have a sense of direction.
Right.
But they are also a little more, or I guess a little less dreamy than Pisces women can
Yeah.
be. Um, so those are the planets in the signs.
Woo woo.
Um, and you can take that knowledge and see where your planets are. Like I said, on astro.com, that's where I get my chart
Mm-hmm.
from. It'll tell you where the planets are now, it'll tell you where the planets were when you were born.
Yep.
And obviously, the planet isn't always going to be in its ruling sign when you're born, and even now,
Yeah.
it moves around the sun just like we do. So, wherever that planet is, that's where it's,
Yeah,
you know,
and we're gonna get more into that too in later episodes. Is
yeah.
we're gonna go into each sign more into depth, kind of talk about what planets it's strong in, weak in, different aspects of it, stuff like that. That way you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of understand it a little more, start putting the puzzle pieces together. But obviously, we're not going to do that today because we will be talking for days,
Oh
and
my
that would be
gosh.
a
Yeah.
long ass episode, and we've got kids to take care of and jobs to go to. Well,
Yeah. My job is my
our
kids.
spouses have jobs, I guess.
Yes. We have houses that need tending. So
Yeah.
we'll cut it off here. And hopefully, you guys come back. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Thanks for listening.
If you have an experience you'd like to share, questions you would like to ask, or input you would like to give, please feel free to email us at the ditzychickspodcast@gmail.com. I would also like to share that we do have an Instagram account as well as a Facebook page. So if you want to be more in the know or involved, please check those out. I will have our email and social media linked in the description below. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.